Tonight, members of Boise City Council will listen to the last hours of testimony on why Interfaith Sanctuary should or should not be granted a conditional use permit and be able to move to a new location on West State Street. To move from their downtown location that just isn't big enough to provide an emergency shelters or the services they feel they need to help people get out of their homeless situation. They took a gamble about a year ago, buying the old Salvation Army building, which would triple its square footage and double their ability to serve their guests, a need that has only increased over the past few years. Back in 2019, Boise-Ada County Homeless Coalition did a point-in-time count of those experiencing homelessness. They're required to do so, and they're required to do this during the last 10 days in January by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So they did this count on the night of January 23rd, 2019. And they counted the number of people sheltered and unsheltered. Statewide, there were 2,315 men, women, and children experiencing homelessness, 713 in Ada County alone. And according to Catch, which stands for Charitable Assistance to Communities Homeless, a local nonprofit dedicated to helping those who are, well, that number has more than doubled in the last 3 years. As of March 29th of 2022, there are 1,448 homeless men, women, and children in Ada County. 991 of them are adults, 457 are kids. And that accounts for 891 households. 272 of those are families with kids. Speaking with one of those families, you learn a lot of things, including one of the biggest misconceptions of those who are homeless is they brought this on themselves. They just couldn't keep it together. And there's some truth to that, through substance abuse, with nearly 40% of homeless people abusing alcohol. More than a quarter are addicted to drugs. But you could be an addict and never actually become homeless. That is a possibility. And there are a lot of other factors involved, like the fact 25% are dealing with mental illness. 25% have extremely low income, most of which is generational. And nearly 40% are disabled. April Cooper isn't disabled, and she isn't an addict. She's married and a mother of 4, who is currently getting assistance from Interfaith Sanctuary, living at their hotel shelter in Boise. That's 5 people in a 2-bed hotel room. She's a Bora High School grad who last June was told she had 30 days, she and her family, they had 30 days to move out of their rental. It was about the same time she found out she had stage 2 breast cancer. April's story isn't a how-to to find yourself homeless, but it begins with her finding out about her father at the age of 18.
He was dealing with this monster inside of him. And I mean, he wasn't like the other dads. He was sort of standoffish with us. And I'm like, was it because I wasn't a son, that I was a daughter? So I was always trying to be like the boy of the family. I played with cars. I tried to understand golf like he did. And then when I found out, and not to be like cruel, I felt relieved knowing something was going on, then it wasn't me or my sisters or anything. And it was just like, he's a registered sex offender.
Okay.
So and I was just graduating high school when he went in for 7 years. He got out early for good behavior. He seemed like he has it's like a mental illness. And how he explained it to me was, when he was a little boy, he liked little girls. And when he grew up, he never stopped. It makes sense of why he was the way he was, why he was so distant in a way, and he wasn't as affectionate like other fathers, like they hold you, cuddle you, let you sit on the lap kind of thing, stuff like that. He wasn't an affectionate father, so I was like, what's going on?
That had to affect you.
Yeah, it did affect me. I was shocked. I mean, at age 18, I felt that I was going to be the parent of the family next, because my mom didn't work, I had my sisters, and mentally I was not there. I mean, I'm ADD, so I was kind of mentally younger than I was at 18. So when it happened, I went, you know what, I couldn't handle everything and took off with somebody and I had a son. So 5 years later, I married the man of my dreams, right? And he was the boy next door.
Literally or
practically 2 doors down, yeah. He lived on the same street, we grew up together, and we dated for a little while, then we broke up, and then we dated for a little while, and then we got married. So, and then we've been together ever since. So we were living on my dad's couch, and I realized we're settling, and that's not good.
That's when April decided to take some business classes at Stevens Henniger College.
I didn't know which path I was going to take, but I was like, I'm doing it.
And they were doing it for a while, even renting a home on the bench for $1,325 a month.
For a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Then they got an email from the owner last June.
We were fine, and then the owner said they didn't want us there, and we're like, okay. And then I couldn't find a place, and we're like, oh shoot, what do we do? So and that's when we started bouncing around. I mean, we had enough money to be able to stay in hotels for a little while, and then a friend picked us up, and we stayed in his separate, his room, his extra room. My eldest one is an adult, so he stayed with us, and my mom has such a small house, so the 3 younger ones stayed with my mom. And I made it so that they could stay and go to the school over there, and made sure everything was set up so that it was a little less stress for them, tried to keep things normal, but it was really hard being separated because I'm so used to my family being close.
Do you consider yourself homeless?
I feel displaced, is what I call it. Anyways, here we are. Something my dad used to say, at home is where you hang your hat. So, I mean, this is not technically home, it's like home base. My messy workspace, sorry. I count myself very grateful, I'm grateful for being here. I mean, it's not a place I want to be. It's not ideal, of course. But, I mean, I could be, I look around and I could be in our tiny car, or sleeping in a tent somewhere. This is our cooking / kitchen / entertainment area.
We hear this a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you do. Mm. There are plenty of jobs out there.
Yes.
Just go get a job and your problems are solved.
Oh, right. See, money, there's no problem with money right now. I mean, my husband makes enough that if rent wasn't like $2,000, we could have a place. We've never had a problem with finding a place. And we're right in the gray area right now. The rent's a little too high, but we don't qualify for like the low income family. We're right in the middle. So, I mean, we can afford things, but rent's too high right now. So, but we're working on it. So we use the drawers for food, and here's our little microwave and fridge.
How did you explain it to your kids?
About
we're now homeless.
That's pretty much what I told them, And I mean, it was. I think it was stressful for them. They had to stay with Grandma, and she is a bit OCD, so it's hard to have so many people in their house. So I would try to pick them up after school, and this was before here. Pick them up after school and go do stuff with them, and then before my husband had to go to work, drop them off. And then give the car back because we only have the one car. So and that was very stressful because I mean they wanted to come back with me, they wanted to stay with me, and it was just really hard for them. And I felt really bad. And there were times where I cried, but it's like I'm not gonna give up. I try to be positive. I try to find ways to keep some normalcy for them. Yeah. So this is our little home base, little homey touches.
So you figured out how to explain it to your kids and talk to them about it.
Yes.
But are there times when you think to yourself or talk to yourself about it? I mean, you're 41, about to be 42.
Yep.
And you're not self-sufficient. Do you ever look at it that way? Do you tell yourself that, or do you look at that and go, how am I in this situation? Or what's it like, I guess, is the question.
Right?
To think you're 41, you would be in a better spot.
It sucks. Yes, it sucks. I want to be a homeowner. I want to be successful, but I feel that I tell myself you need to be patient. All good things come to those who are patient. I've heard that once. I'm like, okay, patience. Don't rush. Because things happen. And I've been told things happen for a reason, So, I mean, this is just one part of my journey to continue on to something better. You know, this is just one stepping stone. You know, once I get through it, I'll look back and go, wow, how did I do that? How did I keep it together? Wow. So that's how I see it.
April believes she's lucky, believe it or not, because her husband works nights. It makes it tough to get into a shelter as a family because, well, he has to sleep during the day. She says he works 12 hours a day for a healthcare provider and makes $15 an hour. As you heard, April does have family in town, but her mom's house, a 2-bedroom, is much too small, and her sister is already living there, so there's really not a whole lot of room. As for asking other family members for help, April doesn't feel like she's in a dire enough situation yet. And despite being dyslexic, April has aspirations of being an author. She's already self-published a 976-page book, and she's working on another one. Catch, they told us today, they're helping 290 families with kids get affordable housing. And they have 237 of those families on a waiting list, a list they could be on for 2 years.